Dudes, what's up? Looks like things are good. How's this gonna look everywhere? All right, we got a little bit of a project today. Less windows, but they already are tinted. So we are going to untint them, and then we're gonna tint them darker. What's on there is gonna be about a 20%, and we're gonna make them 5. So I'm waiting for Mr. Steamy Boy right there to start up. Once it does, we'll be good. Oh, I need to put this on a shortcut. Good morning. Supreme, Daniel, Kenneth. Greetings from Kenya. Whoa, that is far. Welcome. Have you been? It's been a while. It hasn't been that long. I mean, maybe since you've been here. I was here on Saturday. Or wait, Monday? Monday? I was here Monday. But things have been good. Staying busy. When I'm ready to go, when the GoPro is ready to go, I'm gonna go on TikTok too, and we will see how that goes. Oh my God, it is taller. I like it. You guys might not like it. I don't know. So I gotta check this out. So we are more square now rather than wider. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be... I want to see what that looks like on YouTube. All right, here's a hot take. I think on phones, square or vertical is better. YouTube doesn't go really vertical on live streams yet. But I'll explain why. So if you're on mobile, look, you already see more window. That's cool. But when you flip it sideways, it's more window. And then you can leave the chat. If you don't like the chat, well, then it takes up less screen. And then if you want, you can zoom in yourself. And that always works. That'll basically be the same ratio. But if you do want chat, I don't like how they do chat on the mobile app and have it like a small little window on the side. And then, like, they do half-half, but when you're streaming in normal, they switch it to where there's less video rather than, like, a transparent chat. I don't know. I like this. I think this is good. Nice. So the only annoying thing about that steamer is just the sheer amount of time that it takes to actually start. Has the tin slip changed any? I had to use 2 ounce in a 32 ounce bottle yesterday. Oof, that's a lot in a 32 ounce bottle. What kind of vehicle was it? Was it older? Because of what I've noticed is if you use it on things that are generally older and the slip solution looks like it beads a little more, that is where I've said we need to make some adjustments. And I don't think they believe me. But keep letting them know. And so we have made some adjustments with, like, the most recent one, 2018 Terrain. That's interesting. It's not that old. But when you spray, so I'll show with this one if it happens. When you spray your slip solution, if it starts to bead off, that's where you're going to notice, like, you'll notice problems with, like, any slip solution at that. But that's why I think they went, like, too sciencey on it. They got to go a little bit more, I don't know. It's got to be able to sheet on glass like that, or you have to do something to the glass. Hey, look, it's spitting out. It's right here. It's spitting out steam. All right, so let's get the GoPro and then we'll be good to go. I probably should fill up my keg too. That would probably be nice. Oh, that was the other bag. Good morning, Tint Messiah. Where is he? The LA Fitness manager. See, that's how you make an entrance. I hope everybody is not canceling their memberships today. Whoa, that was the wrong button. Canon? No. Oh yeah, there we go. What's the tint thickness? The tint thickness is 1.5 mil. Actually, with ceramic, it's going to be a 2 mil though. In this video, I'm going to show you how to keep the members of the gym happy. Alrighty. Are we good on this? I did some stream fiddling, so I think that's good. Yeah, so now it's the same thing, but slightly taller. I bet most people aren't even going to really notice. Look at that. You see? I like it. But if you're used to like full screen without chat, just zoom in a little bit. You'll be fine. All right, I gotta do something with that steamer. So let me move some windows over really quick, and then we're gonna start TikTok. I bet you most people aren't even gonna know that what I'm really talking about is the aspect ratio. What should we call this? We should call this what's the difference between 2 mil? There we go. Should be good. How do we start TikTok? There we go. Okay, should be good. Nice. What's this a receipt to? How much? Too much. All right, let's get started here. Call it Tint Talk. Yeah, no kidding. So the difference between a 2 mil film and a 1.5 mil film is literally just the thickness. Most film companies manufacture 1.5 mil films. So that's kind of just a baseline that most people will get used to. Sometimes you're gonna have, look, it's manual windows too. We don't even have to turn the key on. But in the case of, yeah, this one got all kinds of messed up. But in the case of ceramic, It's nice to have them be a little thicker sometimes because then they can do stuff like 2 layers and have a 2-layer ceramic. All right, so I need my tool belt, I need a razor blade, and then we're good to go. What's the flooring and how do you like it? So this is a race deck flooring. I've really liked it. If you're washing cars on it and you don't have drains underneath, it's going to be a little problematic. But for just window tinting, I've really liked it. So there's no magic to it. Water can definitely pool up underneath. It will eventually dry. But if you have low spots in your floor and you spray lots of water, the water's going to trail somewhere. So one reason I haven't done this whole thing is it'd be really expensive, and it's nice to be able to clean it out every once in a while. And I wouldn't do that if I did the entire floor. So for me, it's better off as a kind of a, let me put that like that. It's kind of better off in like just a section rather than the entire thing. But I've been really happy with it. The main reason I got it was I was in a home garage and I wanted to make the home garage not look like shit. And this did a great job of making a home garage look amazing. But then I got kicked out of the home garage by the city. And now we're here. And so I brought it with. So that's pretty cool. Rather than epoxying the home floor. Why do worms pop up at the bottom of the window? So little fingers will pop up at the bottom of a window. Worms, that's a good way to say it. They'll pop up when you haven't shrunk the window. So we'll get to that. We're not there yet. On this right now, looks like somebody chewed at this for a little while. This was bought from a dealer, and it was already tinted like this. I'm going to throw a meter on this too, and then we'll see. This doesn't look really old. It looks a little like beat up, but it doesn't look super old. Shoot, this is falling right off. I don't want to speak too soon. We're going to see how the rest of it comes off. What if it comes off like this? Man, there's no reason for a removal charge on this. I wish all tint came off this easily. This is like peeling off a screen protector. But I really only fired up the steamer because we were removing it off of the back glass too. I've done a lot of R&Rs. I've never had a removal go that easy. Come to Michigan. Seriously, when we get removals, like we can have bad removals too, and I've had bad removals, but it's kind of a 50-50. We still get ones that are like this, that are just like not that bad. But yeah, if they all came off that easily, man, removals would not be a hot topic. Let me see on the back glass too. Let's start with the doors. Let's tape this off. And then we'll go from there. Sometimes one side will and the other side won't, so I don't want to get too far. How much do you charge for removal? Generally like 25 a door, and then an extra, like on this back glass, like an extra 50. So it's going to be 100 for the full removal. But with it literally, like, because what happens with a lot of removals is you're scraping glue. So you'll spend an hour at least on certain removals, and then you'll have little glue bits that you have to kind of fight against. So when you go to retint the vehicle, every once in a while you get those little glue bits, or you get something. It's like, oh, I missed a tiny spot over here, or oh, I missed something over there. The next thing you know, you have to redo that window because you did a removal. So the unfair part is like, removals are like a losing situation for everybody. Nobody likes to do them. Nobody likes to pay for them. And then you have to pay to get your car tinted afterwards. So it's just like, you know, it's just like paying to get a windshield replaced. You're like, ugh, it's just like lost money. What kind of tape is that? So this tape is called Seal Guard. The white stuff that I put on the sides, that's called Seal Guard. It's just a nice, really grippy tape. If you have felt seals, if you have older dirty seals, you can just put this right over that. And it's essentially like putting a brand new seal on the car where you don't have to worry about dirt feeding in off of the seals into your job while you're working. How does the tint come off that easily without leaving glue behind? It's a coin flip. Sometimes they do, and most of the time they don't. It just depends on whatever film was applied here and how that wants to stick to the glass. So not all films leave a ton of glue behind, but most do. But every once in a while you get one that's like, whoever did this, they didn't do a bad job. It's just he bought it from a dealership, wants it to be darker, which I'm going to throw a meter on this and I'm going to check it too, because this honestly looks dark. Outside, it kind of, like being a standard cab, it looked more in that lighter 20% range. Here, I don't know, it's definitely leaning kind of dark. So whatever it is now, he wants it to be darker. So we're going to throw a meter on this, and we're going to see after we pull this off. Oh, I'm not used to manual windows. That's been a long time. So what the steamer's going to do is the steamer's going to soften up the film, soften up the glue, and hopefully pull both of them off together. There's a couple of ways to do that. Either you hold it on the inside and warm the film up, or you kind of do this little song and dance here where you warm up the inside and then you keep a water line here on the outside. And you kind of just go back and forth between it, and that water helps keep it pulling off the glass nice and clean. But this is just like, this is just way easy. So that's awesome, because that saves time, that saves money, and everybody's happy when they save time and money. So let's set up this back glass. Oh yeah, let me meter that first. Let's go hunt that down. Why not pull the seals? That's always a hot debated topic here. I learned to tint without pulling the seals. So for me, it's just easy to, especially on a truck like this, to tint it without pulling the seals. So I don't. Okay, so we're 17. So when we put 5, a little darker. So it's a little lighter than 15. So putting 5 on this will be plenty dark. So I don't really have to like figure out a 2% or anything like that, which is nice. Let's clear some space here. But that's really it. When I've been tinting for about 15 years now. When I first learned, I was never like I learned from people that never took apart door panels. That wasn't really an option. There wasn't a nice internet community full of happy people. They were all very old and grumpy and would like to make fun of everybody that posted anything. So I really never thought about pulling seals. I never knew what it was like, and so I've made a career tinting this way. So on cars like this, I like to leave everything as is, and this is just pretty straightforward. So I definitely don't have to pull anything. I like to leave vehicles as is whenever I can. Don't want to create any extra work. RGC, thank you so much for the 10. I appreciate it, buddy. Good to see you. How are you doing? Tint Dude Shop is looking nice. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's coming along. The hardest part is maintaining, because I inevitably throw stuff everywhere and just make a big mess. Oh yeah, guys were super grumpy. Yeah, there was an old school tint forum. They were just full of people that were not very nice. It's one thing to have shop talk, but it was like constant. Anything anybody posted got like a severe amount of negativity, and it was just allowed to be that way. True. All right, looks like we're 3 for 3 on this. Oh yeah, what steamer are you using? Did you add an extension? I did. So you can definitely buy a cheap steamer from Walmart. And there was a Shark steamer that I got. It was small, portable. It was great. I got like 2 years of use out of it for like $50. Then I went in to buy another one and it wasn't there anymore. Kind of a bummer. And then so I picked whatever other one they had on the shelf at the time. It was like $60. It was a pretty decent steamer. But then I went to use it one day and it just didn't turn on. I didn't take that great a care of it, so it just kind of corroded over time from being like hauled around and left in my truck and stuff like that. So I threw it against the wall. It shattered into a bunch of pieces. And I took the hose off of that one and I merged it. This is a Jiffy steamer, so now I have a super hose. Man, this is awesome. So just because you use a steamer doesn't mean your removal is going to go this easily. This is just something that generally helps your removal. I just got really lucky today with that removal, so now it only took me like 15 minutes to remove that. And since that was just a joy to do, I'm not going to charge him for the removal. Daniel Reyna with the 10. Thank you. How do you deal with the rear doors, the quarter windows, tight seals? What do you mean? Like on what vehicle? What's usually stock tint on trucks? On the rears of most trucks and SUV is going to be 20%. If they're foreign, they're going to be a little bit lighter. On my Explorer no, it's not here right now. On my Explorer, it's actually more along the lines of like a 15%, which is a little unusual. Most of the time, they're going to sit in that 20% range. But it's handy to have a tint meter. So if you're a shop, definitely check before you just throw 20% on, or you might have some unhappy people. Where in Detroit are you located? I'm in Sterling Heights. Here we use a meter, nothing below 25, no tint on the front windshield. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be different state laws anywhere that you are. So across the U.S., trucks and SUVs can be tinted 20% on the rear. Like, trucks and SUVs are under, like, different rules. It's kind of bizarre to me. Like, why is it okay to completely black out the back of an SUV, almost? And then, oh yeah, nothing on the front doors. But then sedans and coupes, those will be under different rules. So in some states, you can only go as dark as like 20% on the rear doors, where here in Michigan, you can go as dark as you want. It doesn't matter. So that part of it's nice. All right, so 5. I got my 5 earlier. I actually have a short roll of it, so that's super cool. Because when you are doing a standard cab without a dual slider, or the 3-piece back window, you just need one long piece for this one. So if you're doing that with a long roll, longer than a 24, where are you going to put the rest of that film? Unless you use a plotter. Then you usually could get the doors and the back glass out in one go. So that's nice. So we're going to do 5 on the front doors, 5 on the back glass, and then we're going to do 35 on the windshield. Yeah, some states will have state inspections. We don't have those here. So there's no state inspection stickers or anything like that on the windshield. I didn't realize how spoiled I was in Michigan. Michigan's awesome. Like, I thought we had bad rules. I thought our bad rules was no tint on the front, as dark as you want on the back. And it's like, well, you should be able to put something on the front. But if they put something on the front and put the law up for debate, they might make it worse than it was before. And there's kind of like this loose rule. It's not a rule, it's just like you're not really going to get hassled if you kind of stand out or if you blend in with traffic, so it's not a big deal. What part of Michigan? Sterling Heights. Can you do 5 all around? You can, but you need to get a doctor's note. That's our rule. So if you can get a medical exemption, you can go as dark as you want. It actually does not specify, which to me is wild. So right now on Michigan state laws, what you see is 35% reflectivity, so that just means you can't put mirrored films on your car. I don't even know how they would measure reflectivity, but nobody drives with reflective films that doesn't expect to get pulled over anyways. So all your chameleons and weirdo eBay films, those are off the table. Cool, that's all good. Might have to change out this blade first, or we just have to break a big chunk off here. There we go. You should have did a plotter first hand cut on the front doors. Maybe. It's not a bad idea. I just, maybe in like a Pro Classic rather than a Pro Nano Ceramic. I don't know. Just don't like to throw the ceramic away necessarily. Got a big old curve on this one. This is something that they used to do on a lot of random doors, especially trucks. They used to do this like weirdo curve where now they're a lot more straightened out. All right. So, rough cut your pattern and then connect the dots. So what I mean by that is you have a nice straight line, so you continue that straight line, and then you just want to round the corner a little bit. You don't have to round the corners a lot, unless they do, like you're literally rounding the whole thing to go with the glass. So on this one, straight line there, straight line here, and then you're gonna round the difference a little bit, and then we're gonna fix our cut. Ta-da! Whoa. I want both of these together. So I'm cutting out both of these at the same time. With this one, you just want to basically continue that curve. And then we'll line it up on the glass. Make sure we're not too far over or anything. Should be pretty good. And if we're not, we'll pick it up and we'll cut it again. Yeah, let me go a little bit more, just a little bit. How do you like a marker rather than cutting on the glass? I think it's cool. I just am so used to doing things this way that I tend to not ever use a Sharpie, but I liked how efficient it was and how safe it made everything. The trade-off is that you really should have like another cut surface. But there are some ways around that. So you gotta think of like, most people are running around from garage to garage, or they don't have a lot of space. There we go. Nice. I've been tinting for 35 years, never had a grumpy day. And you are special, and I appreciate you. No, it was crazy, just the sheer amount of hate. Like, I don't know, there's always like, or not always, but a lot of times there was a certain amount of entitlement. It's like people that have been tinting for a very long time, they were just like grumpy at new people. And especially when there were people like me trying to help those people, because otherwise it'd pretty much just laugh at new people for not knowing anything. It's just sad. You're not born knowing all this stuff. You got to figure it out over time or ask questions. I've tinted one window. I wanted to burn the cars down. I can appreciate that. Learning tint is very frustrating. I've thrown things across the shop. I've definitely destroyed film. I haven't intentionally hurt cars, but I definitely have damaged cars while learning how to tint. And just like silly little things like that. I'd say the part that really gets me is when you're like put a lot of time into one window, you feel like you've done everything right, and then you still have an issue with that window, and then you do that like 2 or 3 times in a row, you just, ooh, that drives you wild. That's where I still get really, really heated. So everybody, doesn't matter how long they've been tinting, everybody still has their bad days. I have 5 on top of 20 all the way around with 50 on the windshield. Nice. I did 2% on somebody's vehicle not too long ago. People go dark. Not everybody though. A lot of the stuff that I do generally is lighter. Most people that come in here want 20% or 35, 20, 35, 50 on the windshield. It's pretty standard here. A little bit of shrink. So these aren't going to be very curved windows, but I still like to shrink every door window that I do, just at least a little bit, because then you'll prevent fingers from propping up on the inside. I'd love to show you guys what that looks like, but I don't want to just waste film on stream today. We got a lot of work to do. What do you use to hang tint boxes on the wall? So this was a nifty little system. I have something else that I'm going to be putting up. It's a little more tint official, called the Tint Rack. But this is my Home Depot solution. So what I ended up doing was taking, there's a bar up here. And this is like garage or closet storage. So you take a bar, you put it along the top, and then these track bars, they hang from it. And then I found these little 6-inch brackets. And so what's nice is you can actually widen them out or shorten them up depending on what you're putting on the shelf. Like, it's a total modular system. So for the longer boxes, I can stretch that out even farther. And so I just thought it was a really nice way to put boxes on the wall and keep track of the inventory. Daniel Reyna, Super Chat 5, thank you. The new 23 Explorer SUV. I have one. They're similar to the older ones. They're actually not more difficult though. So on the new Explorers, what I would do is put a piece of film on the glass, shine a light through it, get that bottom and straight edge side cut, and then you just want to trim a little bit wider for the curved part of it. But I can't show you that right now because it's not in here. But thank you for the 5. They're not as difficult as what they used to be. In the Facebook group, I've posted this video quite a few times, though. And on the YouTube channel. I've got a video of an older, like a 2016 Explorer. And I show you can actually loosen up the seal on that one. So it's pretty straightforward. How many cars did you do in a month your first year? All right, that is a loaded question because I'm not just a regular tint shop, but I can tell you it varies a lot depending on competition in your area, your networking connections, and how much you hustle. All those things really play a factor into it. You don't just open up a tint business and then have people knocking on your door. What you do have is lots of people calling around to see who can get me done the cheapest, because it's tint, it's all the same. So the cheapest price that I get means I'm going to just get the same thing as everybody else for cheaper, which is not the case, because there's workmanship, there's film qualities, there's a whole lot of it that goes into it. Most of it's work quality, but it's definitely not a question I can just answer. But if you practice and start tinting, start with like friends and family cars, tint your own car a bunch of times in a row, and then just start putting out some ads and taking on people. Spend all day with the car, because it's definitely going to take you a long time to do it, and charge like a shop does. That's probably my best piece of advice there. Don't just charge cheap because you're new, because what you'll do is you'll attract a lot of cheap people, and cheap people bring cheap cars that suck to tint. So if you're just like middle of the road, then you bring middle of the road cars, and those are, for the most part, pretty straightforward. So you not only have an easier time, but they usually have a little more disposable income. You can build a better business off of it, and you'll have less hassle. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy, because that's one reason why people call around and then, hey, why is the shop charging $500 to tint my car? If there was a window tinter in every street corner, that wouldn't be the case. So we can make it look easy, but I can promise it's definitely not that easy. I need it now. Yep. Also, how did I get to the driver's door first? Somebody want to explain that to me? Like, every video is passenger side first. Somehow I'm on the driver's window. And I don't even have the passenger side tinted. Like, I don't know. It's not bad or anything. It's just, what happened? Get that nice and close. It's dark. Yeah, that's 5. Probably wouldn't be doing this one if he liked what was on here before. So he had 20% before. But bought it from a dealership. It was already tinted. It was a little beat up, so good for a refresh. Watching the process is therapeutic. Thank you. Do you have any tricks on doing the dot matrix? There's a product called Dot Tricks. It's a black vinyl. That's really only for really big dot matrix areas. Otherwise, you have some people that will sand. You have some people that will use glue. If it's a really big dot matrix, it's kind of like an older thing. You don't see it near as much anymore. It's like 2010 styling versus now there's just little thin dot matrix borders. Best I can say is just leave them alone. There really isn't any great solution. So dot matrix, they'll go around the entire window. So imagine this is a car, and I've got a deck lid, I've got all this stuff in the way, and I gotta reach all the way down to the bottom of the deck lid to try and get these little dots to like lay perfectly flat against the glass. Even if you heat them up and press them out, that doesn't happen. So you'd have to like sand them flush. That would involve pulling the glass out of the car, and who's gonna do that? Nobody. So that would also make everything way more expensive, blah, 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 blah. So we just leave them. I wish there was a good solution, but it's definitely something that people have talked about to death, and there just never is a good solution for it. So things just stay the way that they are. There we go. Sweep these out. Sweep this out. Ba-ba-da-ba. And let's check it over. Looking good. Tape. That then peels out. So they're rubber seals, but let me show you this. You definitely should put some time into cleaning them or blocking them off, because this is what you tin up against. So it's really like if you struggle with pushing the film into the side seals and stuff like that, anytime it crunches and doesn't want to scoot into the side seals, that is dirt getting shoved back into the tint. That's where all that dirt comes from. Doesn't matter how many times you clean the seals, the glass, any of it. You always need a clean process to it, but adding something like that will at least help keep some of that out of your film. I have a problem with the Dodge and Chrysler backlash of the heat lines too high and bubble up. Yes, those are thicker. The best way to solve that is turn on the defroster. Like, this is a crazy trick. So they're thicker defrosters, but they also get hotter. So on 300s, on Chargers, Challengers, and I would see this on the newer model Mustangs for a while too. If you turn on the defrosters when you go to clean the glass, so just turn them on, go through your cleaning process, leave the defrosters on through the whole installation, those are gonna lay down way better and give you way less headaches. So I have a Chrysler plant literally right near me. Dude, I'm in Detroit, so big three. We have, like, when Chargers came out, like, oh my God, I couldn't tell you how many 300s, Chargers, Challengers I had to do every day. So yeah, that was a huge problem for a minute. And then somebody told me, turn on the defrosters, and all my problems went away. So do that next time. I've made videos on it, but they definitely get missed. But now you know. Where can I buy micro ceramic tint? Well, let me tell you. I've never heard the term micro ceramic, but nano ceramic, it's really marketing term. You can just get good ceramic tint, 313tint.com. Really from any reputable supplier. I'm using, so what you're seeing right now is Windshield Pro Nano. Korea tinter, I'm watching before boarding a flight from Vietnam to Korea. Dude, I gotta say, your airports in Korea, at least the main one, I've been to that one. So we had a layover. Oh my God, it's beautiful. You have like straight out of a K-drama. Dude, your airports are fantastic. Opinions on the Tint Buster sprayer. Oh, this guy? Oh, this little guy right here? This thing's awesome. I like it a lot. Because I'm in a more stationary setup, I tend to use the spray kegs a lot more. But if I was doing mobile work, I would still carry that around. It's really, really handy. I think it's especially helpful in like commercial and residential. But yeah, it's cool. Because you'll notice, like, I constantly have to manage the water lines on the floor. It's not a big deal, but especially against extension cords, things start to get tangled up. And if you're in a garage and you're bouncing back and forth from bay to bay, carrying your keg back and forth is kind of annoying. But if you can put on a backpack and not even think about it, that's pretty great. Windshield doesn't carry 15% Pro Nano ceramic. Apex is in a 15%, or it should be anyways. I don't know if I think it'll be coming soon for Apex 2 mil, but I'm pretty sure they have it for Apex 1.5 mil. That's kind of a bummer. I'd say that's where they drop off a little bit. They don't have as many shades to pick from. I would love to see a 30%. I would love to see a 10%. Just fill in some of those gaps. Like everybody goes from 50, 20, 35, or sorry, yeah, 50, 35, 20, and 5. So in the carbon lineup, I do carry 15. But for Pro Classic, and you're right, Pro Nano, I don't have those options. So with the recent release of Apex 2 mil, you'll probably see some more shades, but it's very new. And they have it in their C2 carbon line. I think they also have it in their Carbon Plus line, which is more of a ceramic film than it is a carbon film. So that's also another option that you can look into. But being a Pro Nano dude, yeah, I don't have those options either. Little nibble. Let's peel this back. Pull that down. So yeah, we had a late flight back from the Philippines, layover in Korea. We got there at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and had to wait, like had a 4 or 5 hour layover. And then when their airport, they have like Prada and Gucci stores in their airports. It's nuts. They have a little robot that walks around, or that rolls around and will carry your luggage across the airport for you. Everybody's dressed up so fancy. You're like, where did I just land? How can I tell quality film versus cheap film? Ooh. As a customer, you can't until it's years down the road for the most part. So you definitely can with cheap carbon and ceramic film because it'll appear hazy. As soon as the sun comes out, if your windows look like milk, then you got a cheap carbon or a cheap ceramic film. Carbon, on the web. Easy there, Siri. Carbon and ceramic should always be pretty easy to see through, especially out in direct sunlight. Cheaper dyed films, sometimes they'll have like a really strong color to them, but for the most part, you can make any film look good on a car, but then it'll fail over time. I always encourage people just to not shop cheap when they're buying film, because to be honest, your film cost is not going to be excessive compared to cheaper stuff. You don't have to spend that much more money to get at least start getting good films. What's the tucking tool? Oh, so this one is called the shank. It's just a silly crooked butter knife. And it's nice because it stays out of your way. That's what I really like about it. I thought this thing was like super silly and super dumb the first time I saw it. Because for the longest time, what I was using was like a card. And so I just take a triangle, I'd pull back that seal, and I'd tuck in my film. But the difference between a triangle and the shank is this little angle here. So I don't have as much space here, where with the shank, this literally stays out of my way, and I have a lot more room to tuck in the film. There's quite a few different tucking tools out there. I just like how small and convenient this one is. You don't have to tuck very far into the seals either. You need to hide all your gaps and get a little bit underneath the seal. Honestly, I shoot for probably like a ½ inch in most cases. Sometimes a little bit less, just depends on how tight the seal is. Because you got to think about this too. Car stickers, so you have window stickers all over cars. Do they peel? No. Well, if you tuck in your film nice and clean, it's not going to peel. Just at least be below that top seal, and you'll be fine. Good film, good adhesive, it'll stay. And if it fails, then take out the seal or tuck farther. I don't know. Do one of those things. But I do this all the time. I don't have cars coming back. If I did, I would have a problem because I'd have a lot of bad reviews and it would cost me a lot of money. Can't do redos all day. Do you have updated slip solution video? What's the best mixture that you use? I don't, but I will soon. Because right now, the hard thing about slip solutions is it depends on the films that you're using. We came out with a solution for GeoShield films and films that are more tacky. If you just use baby shampoo, you're generally fine. There's nothing wrong with using baby shampoo. It's safe on the film. They just can change their formulas, which means you have to adjust how much you use a little bit. But for the most part, you can use as much soap as you want. To me, that always makes things easier. The more soap, the better, because then I can slide things into place. As soon as it sticks to the glass, that's when you have a bunch of headaches. So right now, this is Tint Slip. I'm using about 2 to 3 ounces in my 3-gallon spray keg right now. and I don't add anything else to that. Before that, before Tint Slip was a thing, I was having to do 3 ounces of baby shampoo with about a ½ ounce of Dawn dish soap. But dish soap isn't safe for film, so that was a bad idea. I didn't know it at the time. Yikes. But nothing bad's happened so far. It's just not something that I want to keep on going. How much film does it take to do a typical SUV? I don't know. Take the vehicle measure. Like, each one of these is going to be about 2.5 feet wide. So 2.5 feet, 2.5 to 3 feet. Then you're going to have probably about another 3 feet for the quarters. And then you're going to have about 4 feet for the back window. And just add all that up. But each window is typically going to be about 2.5 to 3 feet at the most. And they're going to be, you just need a 24-inch roll. So that's what this guy is right here. Sometimes 20 inches tall enough. 24, that's to give you a good idea of how much extra film that you got right there. But you should be good. Just get a 100-foot, 24-inch roll or a 50-foot. Good to go. Unless you want to do the windshield, then you need a taller roll. And we'll talk about that later. Can you show the water spraying? How can I buy one? So the kegs, that's what this guy is right here. This is a 3-gallon tint keg. You pressurize this with air. Watch, it's easy peasy. So I'll do the back window and then I'll probably change out the water in here just to show you guys a little later. We'll see how heavy it is. But I've got my soapy water mix in here. Add air pressure to it. And then I have 2 sprayers running off, 1 on each side. And then handy little brass sprayer. It's nice. How long would you leave the water in the keg? I wouldn't leave it in there more than a couple days. Your slip solution, whatever soap that you're using, is going to start to separate from the water. So you just don't want to leave it in there for super long or anything. I'll be honest, I might plotter cut this one. So I got 2 options. The annoying part is that he's got a tonneau cover. So I could put this on the outside, I could hand cut it, but then I gotta go up and down off the back of the truck. The other option is what I would usually do is clean off the inside, pop a big piece of film in here, trim it off. But 1, this is clear, and 2, you've got a headliner that comes really close and paneling and stuff. So you're not gonna get the cleanest of edges if you're not really, really careful or lucky. Or we just plotter cut it. And then we cross our fingers that that lines up. So let's see. We're probably going to plotter cut it. Why not? And if that doesn't work out, you guys will understand my frustrations. So this is a... Where's the year? Oh, there it is. Is this 16? Really? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I guess so. Be prepared to hand cut. Yeah, we'll find out. Hang on, we're going to go on eBay real quick, and we're going to order our pre-cut film. Where can you get the green tool? 313tint.com. Which program? we're gonna use film cut. Dang you, TikTok chat, you just staying over the whole screen here. We'll put you over here. That's a nifty trick, huh? So tint, and then we want to go with a 16. We want to go with a Chevy. This is a Silverado 18 to 14 pickup, right? That's what we're at. We'll look at the window shapes and stuff too. Wow, it's all been removed. How much is the cutting machine? That one's about $2,000, and it'll cost about $100 a month in software. Yeah, that looks right. All right. So let me adjust my settings here too, because we're doing ceramic. So then we need higher force. 69. Sounds good. And we'll cross our fingers real hard here. Oh yeah, and I also got to do this. I got to move the cut head over. It's more manual. That sounds good to me. Can you show us where to buy the water spraying system? Yeah, of course. Hang on, let me pop up YouTube real quick. If you go to sundistributingdirect.com, Can I not type in my chat window here? Oh, that's way weird. Well, maybe another time. But Sun Distributing, Google search them or Tint Keg and you'll find it. All right. So we are a cutting. So when you guys order a kit off of eBay, this is what that looks like. Somebody literally goes to their software, they put the film in, and they go, brrr. And if you have problems, I don't know, it's on you. What heat gun? Wagner. Get the cheapest Wagner, that's the yellow one. There's a lot of cheap heat guns. Some of them work better than others, but if you're gonna save money on a heat gun, Wagners are awesome. Other than that, go all the way up to like $180 and buy a Steinel. The other ones literally don't do anything for you as a window tinter. They have temperature controls because some people need to gauge their temperature when they're doing like electronics repair and stuff, or they need different accessories. As a window tinter, you just need it to get really hot and blow some air, and the Wagners are awesome. I definitely have enough for like a visor strip here. You're gonna reverse roll the back window? No, I'm just gonna throw it in. This is one of those pieces of film that I feel really bad just throwing away, but it'll sit on a table for about a week and then I totally will throw it away because what the hell am I supposed to use this for? Is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? Nice. We got our settings right. So that's all cut. On truck back windows, you don't have to shrink them, but you might get the occasional finger. It really depends on how curved it is. They're pretty damn flat, but to be on the safer side, it doesn't hurt to snap shrink them just a bit. So I like to do that before I install it. I really need just a bigger glass board, but hey, here we are. Is it outlined for you already? Yeah, that's what the plotter does. So all the plotter does is cut out the film for you. Let me make sure this is all set. Yeah, what the hell? Can I not? Let me pop the chat back in here for a sec. Oh, now I can add a comment. So Sun Distributing, that's where you can get the tint keg for the guy that was asking. But if the chat is popped out, I literally cannot comment. That's so goofy. Thanks, been watching all your videos and learning. Hell yeah, that's awesome. That's what they're there for. So I do these live streams, I don't know. I like to try and do them once a week, at least. Where we just go through an entire car. Sometimes we do more, sometimes I don't do any. But when I got the right situations, that's when I like to do them. See, little snap shrink. Let's just keep going. Can I show you the heat gun? Yeah. It's right here. Little Wagner. How's Patrick doing? Good. As far as I know. He had some good stuff going on with dry shrink prep, so haven't talked to him a lot lately, but I mean, stuff is still happening. Hey, who are you? They're here to put the orders together. Hi. Hi. What's up? You're gonna help tint? Nope. You gonna go watch a show or something? Hi. He's like, what are you wearing? When you first started tinting, how long did it take you to quit your job? Oh, window tinting was like my full-time job. I was working at an auto accessories company that my dad owned, and I just kind of fell into window tinting. I didn't intend to. I was learning electronics. I was going into aviation mechanics school. I was doing other stuff. And then the window tinter quit very suddenly. And he asked if I wanted to learn how to tint, and you can make a bunch of money doing it. I was like, yeah, that doesn't sound bad to me. And boy, was it frustrating. So I wouldn't be in window tinting if that wasn't the case. Everybody's path is going to be different, but I just kind of fell into it. And I was still going to aviation mechanics school at the time. And then I just decided to not keep doing aviation mechanics. I just kept tinting. And the guys at the shop would make fun of me because they're like, you're going to be a lifelong tinter, or just watch. And I'm like, shut up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to finish school, and I'm going to go do something else. And nope, I'm still tinting. And to be honest, I've seen people get laid off, and here I am still tinting. So I'm very happy that I kept going with this. I never liked the idea of corporations just because there's, like, you're putting your whole life in a company that may or may not want to keep you around. That's the part that really scares me. It's because they give a lot of young people opportunities. So, like, as a young person going to school, you're like, oh, sweet. You know, there's so many jobs and so many things that I can do, and I can just get my foot in the door, and I'll have a great career. And then 20 years flies by. And then next thing you know, company goes through some problems and then lays a bunch of people off, and then you have to try and find another job at the same income you were making before. Probably made more money with less liability. Imagine being a mechanic responsible for tightening that last nut on a prop or something. Oh, 100%. I didn't realize how much paperwork aviation mechanics was until I went to school for it. Then you realize, oh, this is all just procedures, which makes sense. But like, oh, I'm going to go work on airplanes. Or you drop your 10 mil into, yeah. Yep, then you got to disassemble that whole thing. They made some jokes about that. So they had some jet engines at the school. And like, yeah, they're like, you never want to hear this sound. And then they drop literally like a 10 mil. Bing, 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 bing. Because then you got to take it all apart. And you got to put it all back together. And then you got to run tests like it's a brand new friggin' engine. You just cost the company millions of dollars. Good job. It's like, that doesn't sound fun. Okay, so the tape I put at the top just because it's super close to the headliner. The headliner sheds little dusty flakes. So the more you can do to kind of block off some of that from maybe trailing into your tint, or you're putting your tint in place and it brushes against the top, it's going to keep that whole edge much cleaner. When you have more space, like, honestly, a lot of what you see tends to be more overkill here. You don't have to do all of this, but these are some options. When I was doing mobile tint, I did not tape anything. There's a lot of things that I do now that I didn't do before. And to be honest, like, I was still a fine tinter. Like, my work was still turning out good. So if anything, we've gotten more critical on things. But you can go all out and do this, but you don't have to. What's your main squeegee? This is called the hybrid. It's a combo. But honestly, I just really like the material. If you told me, or if you put a blindfold and had me try and guess which side was which, I couldn't tell you. They're both great. So once one side wears out, then I flip it over to the other side. Okay, so window tint. I gotta pick it up that way, so I kind of want to flip this over. Oh, you can also do it off the door too if you want. So if you're mobile, you can just do this. Put that big old piece of tint on the door. Peel that off. Lightly spray. Then pick it up. All right, and we're literally gonna Frankenstein this one like I do everything else. Reason being, it's just easier. I've tried reverse rolling these and they're not that hard to do, but I'm still just more comfortable doing things this way. So I'll put this side of the film up on the window first, kind of slide it into place, then start working the rest of the film and just hold this stuff here. And then start scooching the rest of it into place. So you don't just have to go like bleh. Get it anchored first, move it over, and then cross your fingers that there's no gaps. Because I just realized that I just remembered that we powder cut this. Hey, look at that. That's friggin' perfect. I like it, except that. Let's scooch that over. Oh, they don't give me much space. That's fine. Make sure all are gaps. So this is smart time to peel back the tape. Get your head in there. Look at all the things, because the last thing you want is like a hairline gap when you start tacking this down, because as soon as you tack it down, you got to peel it back to shift it. So always make sure all the gaps are covered. Nice. Looking good. I'd say that tape was a very smart choice too. This looks very, very good. I think I'm gonna do it on the windshield too for that headliner. So once you give it that first squeegee, then I'll apply a little extra pressure. Just go straight over. Certain situations, the plotter's great. Yes. So the best way to figure out how a plotter is going to help is how much of a pain in the ass is it to cut yourself. And like I said, I could either try and cut it on the inside, which I've done before. This one didn't give me a great edge with the panel kind of falling back in. So that's option number one. Option number two is I roll up the tonneau cover, which most people have, and then that adds about this much stuff in the way. And so I'm trying to cut this bottom edge and get in there and whatnot. So that's kind of annoying too. Plus there could be any bunch of stuff in the truck bed that I have to walk over. Or I can cut it out on the plotter. So plotter was a good choice. 10 out of 10, worked out really nice. Where a plotter doesn't always work out really nice is where I see them really fail. Sometimes is on windshields, and especially top edges on doors, or sometimes the patterns will just not be scanned in right. So you find those things out over time. If I'm tinting a bunch of cars in a day, get a system, have somebody cut it out for you, and you're just gonna go through a lot of cars in a day. That's how you really can scale up a tint operation. If you're by yourself, they're gonna help you with those harder cuts, but as an individual, they're not really gonna speed you up a ton by yourself. But if you're really new, it depends on the software. Oh, 100%. And that's kind of my general experience with all of it. I've used probably about 7 or 8 softwares at this point. Then they lock them down. Oh yeah, because I can, one sec, let me just adjust my headset and then we'll get to this windshield. I can almost guarantee, oh, I get it this way. What's up? I can almost guarantee you use DAP, which was amazing software. I wish everybody had access to it. How do you figure out your pricing, especially in your area? You can call around. There's other people that are tinting, there's other shops. So if anything, what you'll get is like a nice baseline for what other people are charging, and then just kind of go with that. Here, we got audio. Okay. There we go. If not, you can go over and shave the edge. That's my thing nowadays, a micro edge. Yeah, so here's my only problem with that, is like some patterns, man, they were like stupid close on the sides, and then they were really close on the bottom. So even if you were using like their longer patterns, there's a lot of bad softwares out there. So then you go and try and you line up the top edge, you cut it out, and then you realize the pattern was really never big enough in the beginning. So you just have to spend the time, to get comfortable with your own software. You have to put time into it. You have to learn the quirks. I think what most people think when they get software is like, oh, now I don't have to hand cut anymore. And no, that's not the case. All right, so now we got a windshield to do. So we got a lot of up downs. So we're gonna scrub off this windshield. We got a mirror to take off, dash to cover. And then we'll get this done. When I called around, they said sometimes that cheaper cutters will cut the patterns big. I learned about that later. And there should be, it would be nice if there was some sort of like, you cut out like a 5x5 square and you literally measure it with a ruler to get an accurate idea of how accurate your plotter is cutting out. And I don't know if most companies like have that taken into account. But yeah, scaling can definitely be different. It's off center. We'll see. Oh, I think a little bit. That makes sense. Yeah, yep, you're right. I don't know why it shifted. There we go. That should be better, though. Wait, no, that's not it. Wow, will it please let me just select the thing that I'm trying to select? This is like one of the most frustrating parts about OBS. Jesus Christ, man. Fucking... How many windows am I shifting? Here. Transform. Center to screen. There we go. I tried clicking on it 7,000 times, so no wonder it was off. I was shifting every other window, but actually shifting that. That makes more sense, because it was probably like this. Bummer. What's your opinion on Lexan? I get asked that a lot. I think people always get into Lexan with the wrong idea. Buying Lexan's cheapest carbon is not super shrinking friendly, and so a lot of people just get into it trying to learn how to tint, and then they have frustrating problems with it. So my disclaimer is get Pure Max if you want to practice shrinking with it. Other than that, get something else. How dark are we going? We're doing 35. 35 is as dark as I'm going to go on a windshield, too. A ton of shops are using Lexan. Yes, because it's cheap. It's that low-hanging fruit there. So, I don't know. Some people like it. Some people use it for a while and want something better. It'll get you by. It's not my go-to thing. I've used the Pure Max at this point a little bit just to see what it was like. I think it's fine. But I've gone that route years ago. Here's the problem. Everybody wants the cheapest film and the most performance. Like, yeah, save the most money, get the most performance. So when you read through the specs and stuff like that, that's what you see. And it delivers on most of that. The only thing that I can't say for sure is, like, how long is it going to last? And that's what always freaks me out. Because I've been through really bad film failures before. And that is way worse than spending a little bit more money and having a company back up your film. So, what is that sound? The ding dong.
Where?
Did you just hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Coming from where?
I guess so. I've now heard that like 3 times. I have no idea. Is making $500 a day realistic? Oh, with window tint? For sure. All right, let me break down the pricing on this one. So normally, just in the standard, we have let's see, the sides and the rear. That starts at $200. Full windshields is an additional $150. If we were charging for the removal, it would be an additional $100 on top of that. So before I had this pulled in, he was set on getting ceramic. It was going to be $700 out the door. But I'm waiving the removal because it was stupid easy to do. So now it's $600. But entry level for just doing the sides and the rear, 2 doors, back glass. It would take you, you could do that inside of like an hour, make a couple $100 doing that. Yeah, you can make really good money doing window tint. How much more should I be charging for ceramic versus dyed? That's always a tricky question to answer, because there's always what your market can kind of bear, and you kind of figure that out over time, and people are always pushing those boundaries. But what I usually do is, like, I'll just give you my pricing. So on a full sedan, sides, rear, I start at $290, and then it's like a $60 upcharge if you want to do carbon, and then so it's $290, $350, and then for ceramic it's $450. So it's good to have 3 options, and you kind of want to ladder things within a certain range. Let's see. I'm going to see if we have enough of this. Is there a lot of risk in opening a shop? Can any tinter open a shop and be successful? Yes, any tinter can open a shop and be successful, but here's what I'll say. You want to take on the least amount of risk that you possibly can. So if you've never tinted and then you just open up a shop, you're going to get screwed. You want to figure out a way to at least start learning, and then a way to start doing jobs. What? A new person, or is it the guy that was waiting? There's a new person waiting? Oh, well, that's annoying. Hang on, guys. 1 second, let me put you down. You guys can look at the car. I gotta take care of a customer right quick. Front doors will take about about half hour to an hour. Let me just pull up the schedule here really quick. I'm live streaming right now too.
Yeah, I came across your channel.
Oh, okay. Cool. Oh, I actually do have it up here. I could do tomorrow. I could get it in as early as 10:30 if you want to bring it in tomorrow.
And you take about how long?
Oh wait, that's not this week. Oh no, it is. Oh, we're not Monday. Tomorrow's Friday. Yep, I could do tomorrow. It'll take about up to an hour.
An hour?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go up north tomorrow. I'll give you a call. You said 120?
Yep.
Okay.
Alrighty. Have a good one. Alright. Alright, we back? Here. What's up? He looks like a fed. He looks like he's fed up. I'm kidding. This way. Alright, let me throw this back on. Oh, I think my headphone is up front too. See, I'm not geared up very well to handle people just walking in while I'm streaming. That's the only thing that always like throws me off. Because this is like me time. Let me grab this guy right here. Is there a way to tell the difference between 1-ply and 2-ply with the naked eye? No, it'd be strictly by feel. Once it's on the glass, you can't tell what it is. It feels like tissue paper, though, when you're pulling it off. I think we're going to do this on it. No, I'm not. I'm going to do the other one. This one. Yep. How big is that roll? So 100 feet long, but 36 inches tall. With windshields and back windows, you can either get 40-inch rolls or 36. 36 are still going to cover the vast majority of windshields. So, whatever you're doing, you just gotta make sure you're not doing a 20 or 24. Because those are gonna be too short. Windshields are gonna be about, I don't know, 4.5, 5 feet wide. Just depends. Any recommendations on getting tint down into the bottom corner of a rear windshield on a coupe? You either got to use farther reach tools, like the bulldozer or the side swipe. These should get down there. If the deck lid is literally touching the back glass, then you have to remove the deck lid. I don't remember that ever being the case on a Civic Si, though. But bulldozer, side swipe, and tail fin. The green one was called the tail fin. The white one is like a must-have. That's called the bulldozer. Oh yeah, we were talking about shop stuff. Okay, so when you're opening a shop, the best way to minimize risks is have other incomes or have a customer base or something. I wanted to just tint from home. So I had about a 4-month leeway from tinting from home and then jumping into a shop. The only reason I really jumped into a shop was because, like I said, the city did not want me tinting from home. So things were going pretty well. And then when I moved into a shop, I started to get some more phone calls, but then I also had more overhead as well. It wasn't just like an easy, hey, I'm here, let's tint your cars. The longer you're in business, the more clients you'll take care of and the bigger your business will grow. But it's a slow process. Unless you can network and hustle, you really have to put yourself out there. You can do that with online advertising. You can rub shoulders with other businesses. You can do mailers. Like, there's lots of things that you can do to try and stand out. Every one of those things will get a small amount of people, and then you just got to be patient. So the other thing, here, let me make this much easier though. So what I was doing before this was I was tinting for other shops, not tint shops. I was tinting for other associated businesses. So I had a glass account. So I would go to a windshield replacement company, and they would sell tint jobs for typically $300. They didn't employ a window tinter. They would just do tint on Tuesdays and Fridays, and I would go in there and I would make a bunch of money. I would generally make probably about like $1,500 to $2,000 for those 2 days. And I would do that a couple days every week. So I had money to keep my shop floating with like no business at my shop. I just still did mobile work. So that took a lot of stress off of my actual shop while I'm trying to build that up. So I would still answer phone calls. I would still schedule people. I'm just not at the shop to get your car immediately done. But that's how I was doing things at the home garage too. I was by appointment only. If I have a shop, I'm not going to sit there all day if there's nobody there. What's the point of that? I'm wasting my time. Or I'm making videos. Why do some people call it paper? I've always wondered that. Yes, you always have to shrink it. So you see all these crazy wobbles. Let me get this heat gun. See all these crazy wobbles and stuff? These are not going to lay flat when you squeegee them on the inside. So you have to shrink it to fit it to the curve of the glass. Any suggestions on tinting outside in a driveway? Tint in the garage. It's tough, man. I've never tinted outside. Because, I don't know. There's things that you can do, and there's ways that you can make it work. But it's so difficult, especially when you're trying to learn, that you're fighting against wind. Oh, it's cold. Oh, it's hot. Oh, it decided to rain. So at the very least, you need to isolate some of that stuff. So get like a pop-up tent. I saw a video where somebody had screen walls, and the screen walls helped cut down the wind a ton, and it would be way easier to do that. But the other thing is, like, you can go contract for other companies, and so you have no overhead, and you can do their tint work, and then you'll just split money with them. So when I was doing mobile, we would collect 75% of the ticket. And so that means, like, I lose 25%, but then I don't have the cost of a shop. I don't have to answer phones. I don't have to sell jobs. I don't have to cash out the customers. I don't have to keep track of any of that. I just literally go in, bring the film, tint the cars, I'm done. That's worth more than 25%. But for companies that are not tint companies, window tint is not their main business. So then they can pay you more, actually, which is pretty awesome. So if you're tinting for a tint shop, their whole business is window tinting. Sorry, that's just how it is. And you rely a lot on those cars coming in unless you have multiple services. But when you do that same thing and go to, let's say, an auto glass company, well, shit, their main business is replacing windshields. And then they just happen to have lots of people asking about window tint. So when they make 25% on that, they're pretty happy as long as they don't have upset customers. So go in, do good work, and then they'll make a little extra money, and then they'll take care of that. Like, oh man, we're leaving money on the table by not doing window tint. I wish we had a window tinter. Schedule them a couple days a week. Do that for a few other shops, and then you're making really good money. You don't have a garage. You don't have overhead like that. To me, that's a win-win. Do you wash the cars before you start? No. No, you really don't need to. Cars are very easy to clean up. You can have something that's just covered in road grime. Scrub down the window, squeegee it off. It's good to go. It gets a little harder for the guys that tint out in the middle of nowhere that have dirt roads. That's going to be a little harder because then you get a lot of trucks, a lot of old beat up stuff. Go somewhere where you can get nice, newer vehicles. And when you charge a little bit more too, see, this is the thing. So if you're tinting for other companies too, drive to a nicer area. Go to some of the nicer car places and then try to tint for them. Because then they already have nicer cars coming in. They already charge more money. There's going to be less hassle. The only thing that tinting for other companies is not going to allow you to do is grow your own name. So then there's people that then go completely mobile and they go from house to house. The problem with going from house to house is you don't have repeat business at one location. You're usually going to somebody's house to tint one car, and then you got to pack up and go somewhere else. So that's the trade-off. When I'm going to a shop, they will fill up my day, and then I don't have to go anywhere. There's a lot of value in that. Versus going somewhere, tinting a car, packing up, finding another place to tint, going there, traffic, setup time, talk to a customer. All that takes time. I bought a carport for $150 at Harbor Freight to paint, and it works amazing. Nice, that's awesome. You're a genius. I get to tint outside, and I get to quit my job. Yes. I didn't come up with that one, though. So I was tinting at my dad's shop, and there's this really friendly tinter. He came by, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to make more money?" I was really frustrated with where I was at. I'm like, yeah. And he was like, "You want to do mobile tint? I literally don't have enough people right now." and you'll get 50% of every job that you do. And I was like, okay. So then I started doing mobile. And there was a lot of frustrating days until they really figured out a program. And honestly, like, they would still tint for people that called. But what I noticed was there was a lot of people that would call wanting window tint. And when you're mobile going to them, most people don't have space in their garage. Most people don't have a clean garage. Most people don't have a heated garage. So in the wintertime, like, it needs to be kind of warm. Doesn't need to be toasty warm, but you need a little bit of heat. So it was more frustrating going from house to house than anything. But what worked best was when we had a nice shop. Honestly, like, we made some money at some pretty poor looking shops too. They just had some good sales guys, man. So it depends on like who you're tinting for. You don't need to tint in a nice area, but that definitely helps. But what you really want to do is work with them a little bit, give them a shot. And then if they just completely let you down, or like you go in and there's like nothing to do, you're like, well, that was a waste. Or and if they're like, hey, I got a set of doors. Okay, cool. You got one set of doors. Neat. You go in, you do that. And then give them another week. Let them try and fill up that next spot. But don't really just always go out there every time like, hey, I got a guy, he can come on down now. I need you to come tint this car. No, they need to learn how to funnel all that business to one day. Give them a half day, give them a full day. Based on that, if they're doing good, then you give them 2 days. And then we've had some people with like 3 or 4 days because they just kept booking work. I want to tint. Just keep booking it. So what we would notice a lot of times when you have an unmotivated shop, they're just like, man, nobody's scheduling, nobody's asking. They don't care. And if they don't care, you shouldn't care either, and you should drop them and move somewhere else. But if anybody's listening that would actually like an account, hit up Symbol Auto Glass over in Shelby Township. That was the last place that I tinted for. And as far as I know, they still don't have a window tinter. They've asked me multiple times, hey, do you know of anybody? Is there anybody that can come out here and tint? I should send them a message and ask if they've gotten anybody yet. But I never had anybody to send out there. I even have some live streams from that place. Good people. They'll keep you busy. They do nice cars. They do good work. I've never had a problem with them. Well, they would sometimes overbook me or frustrate me that way. Other than that, no. They're good people. You just got to be able to communicate with them. I think every owner of every business will drive you a little crazy on some level with something that you're just like, wait, what? But you gotta take a little of the good with the bad. Auto glass shops are some of the most profitable as long as they're in a nicer area, or they really try. Yeah, I don't know what that sound is. It's so weird. It's got to be something on the computer. But I heard that the other day, and it was just like, ding dong. Like, what is going ding dong?
This way it's not printing.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh.
Maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, well.
6 hours that did print.
Oh, it's doing that again? That's annoying. All right. Printer problems. That's fun. It does sound like a notification, but I have no idea what it is. Ding dong. Good times. No, it's not on, like, it's something over in that direction. Oh. I tried tinting outdoors with an AutoZone roll. It was a nightmare. Yeah, because window film will become a kite. You could actually make a kite out of it if you wanted to. It's just thin, light film. The wind will try and take it. All right, now we got that tucked in. That's cool. So what we just did was we put a towel here. We put a soak shield in there, so that helps when the water runs down, it collects there and it's not going to any of the electronics. You still don't want to just like soak down a windshield, but that's how you keep it mostly safe. And then, just like we did for the other one, I got a fair amount of space up here, which is nice. But a little extra thing that you can do is, especially where you're unrolling it in the beginning, you just take some tape, tape the carpety bits of the headliner. Imagine a 20% Pro Nano kite. Oh my God, could you like, if you made a big enough window tint kite, could you change the climate? Because now you're disrupting where that heat is going. Probably not. Yeah, so there's some people, they don't mind going to people's houses and stuff like that. Now I can feel the time just like disappearing. But yeah, like there's lots of businesses. Here's the thing, and it's not hard to get started at any of these places. You guys think like we're gonna sit you down for some like intense interview. Man, there's just lots of like independent business owners that just like nice people. And yeah, we want you to be good. We don't want to put out shit work. But they're literally like a lot of business owners are back there involved in getting the work done, or they're at the sales counter or something like that. We need somebody to come in and just get the work done. So there's so many people that they don't show up, they do shit work, or they're just bad people. So if you're like halfway decent, you can get a job at so many of these auto places because nobody seems to be coming in applying for a job anyways. And then we have to figure out how to hire somebody and like go through that whole mess. So if you just walk in, ask to talk to whoever the store owner is, say you're interested in tinting, and then give them a halfway decent program to go off of. There you go. Do you learn to tint by removing door panels? No, I didn't know that was an option. So I've been tinting of however long I've been tinting without removing pretty much anything. But it's definitely easier to tint the window if you remove the obstacles. Sometimes the good attitude isn't reciprocated. Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely crappy businesses too. Don't be shy. That's probably one of the hardest things to get over, though. If you literally just, like, keep your options open. If you don't like who you're tinting for, then just start looking around while you're still tinting for them, and then you're making money. Go find somewhere else, and then just shoot. That's what I did when I worked at Quiznos. I worked at Quiznos for 2 weeks, and then I got a job at Dairy Queen. Quiznos was paying $5. Dairy Queen was paying $7.50. That was before I got into cars. What kind of shop? So he still has a shop, Auto Tint City, over in Dearborn Heights. My older brother and younger brother, they still both tint there. It's a 6,000 square foot building. They have a nice team. They have a nice operation going there. Before that, it was called Auto Ameristar. They had about, 12 locations at one point. It was a big chain of places to go to. And then housing market crash. Accessories started becoming less popular. For the longest time, everybody's getting like aftermarket radios and stick-on accessories and step bars and all this stuff. Somebody would buy a new truck and the economy was good and they come in and they spend 10, 15 grand on auto accessories. I used to work at a Taco John's, made $300 a week. Now I make that in 2 hours. My man. That's awesome. That's why I still love doing all the videos and stuff. I can't tint all the cars. I think this is a really cool career skill. You can make money on the weekends. You can make it a full-time thing. You can build a shop. Like, it's so flexible. What? Ameristar sounds like a propane place in Oklahoma. We started at our garage at home and opened our own last month. That's friggin' awesome. Holy shit, I've had one of my cars tinted by them before. Yep. And so with the chain places, the thing is, it's always 1 or 2 people that is tinting your car. So what a lot of auto accessory places have tried to do is they've tried to bring in window tinters. Honestly, most of them underpay window tinters, and they just have a bad experience all the way around. Doesn't matter where you go, it's always up to 1 or 2 people that work there. Doesn't matter how fancy the place is. Always check the reviews before you go. But it's been funny doing mobile. I've gone to like so many different businesses and heard lots of stories because so many people worked with him. Hang on, let me get a side swipe. I was looking for one and then I got distracted. There should be one there, but it's not. Does your dad ever ask you to help at a shop? No, not anymore. He's definitely got enough people to cover everything, which I'm very happy about because we just have 2 very different ways of looking at businesses. So I always went towards video and taking some extra time, and I didn't want to be just a high production place. And he was always like, he's not a window tinter. He was always like the business owner type of guy. I worked for a shop. The boss would reject a tint job if he found the slightest bit of dust in a completed job. The thing is, we were tinting in a dungeon practically. Yeah, you always got to reinvest in your own place, because then you're just funneling off money and then like being hard on your employees for what? What's on the shelf? So those are all the tools that we have in inventory, because I have an online tint supply store as well. 313tint.com if you're interested. All right, so let's get this windshield going. A lot of history stuff today. Good times. All right, so we're gonna peel that corner. We're gonna peel this one, lightly spray it, and then we're gonna set this back down. And put this back down as nicely as you picked it up. We're gonna go to the other side. You didn't use a dryer sheet? No, I used dry shrink prep on this one. Building up clients for a few years. About to send it. Nice. Yeah, going from like a home garage to going to a shop is definitely like a big stretch. I was really nervous when I was going to leave that. Wow, that was annoying. I was really nervous when I was going to leave that deposit because it wasn't even that expensive for a commercial place, but it was 2 months down as a security deposit and 1 month up front. But at least I got the first month free. What is a robot gorilla on the top shelf? I don't see it. But yeah, definitely nervous. I like tinting from home. I thought tinting from home was awesome. I didn't have to go anywhere. People literally drive to the house. The only thing that I really didn't like was that it was the house. So I think there's always some sort of like a nervousness about going to other people's houses. Like it's just not a very traditional businessy thing. You're always going to like that dude. But, you know, when I had some sort of a like working relationship, they'd bring more cars as they got them. But there's always something about, you know, having a place for people to park. And, you know, if somebody wants to drop off early, that's no problem. If somebody wants to wait on a job, I've got a waiting area. So I like that kind of stuff more. I just wish it was on, like, my own property, really. Because what's really annoying is, yeah, you're paying shop rent, and then you're also paying for all your home stuff. And the more you can just combine those together, hey, you can get one hell of a house for what I'm paying right now in rent. But that's just the way it is. Yeah, because my rent went from like $2,400 a month to like $3,400 a month. Still not bad, but definitely a big hike. I saw somebody using brake cleaner. Oh, dude, don't. So brake cleaner might work, but here, if you want something quick and easy, go to the dollar store, get this stuff. LA's totally awesome. You can buy it for $1. That'll work. And you'll save money. We were nervous about random people at our home. Yep. Yeah, I can understand that. Everybody lives in a different spot. To me, I thought it was kind of funny because, like, everybody gets really concerned about, like, their own privacy and stuff. And to be honest, there's, like, so much that's out there that's posted. It's like you can't draw enough attention to yourself. Most people don't care. But you might get that one crazy person, especially if you have kids. So we're doing a process called reverse rolling. We rolled the whole thing up like a poster, and now we're unrolling it onto the glass. It's kind of magical. So we'll get about halfway, and we'll start pulling this liner back. There we go. Then we unroll that onto the inside of the window. On a truck, we have a lot more space to work with, so that is easier. If you're doing this on an Audi, your paneling, everything is just way harder to get stuff in place. So it just depends on the vehicle. And then you cross your fingers really hard that there's no big hairs or dust or whatever. Tinted windshields are no bueno in Illinois. Oh, that's a bummer. It really, I think it more depends on where you're driving and how much you stand out. So this one's definitely going to stand out a little bit. You'll see. So squeegee out as much as you can very quickly. Start in the center, work your way out. Once you do that, put some firmer pressure, go again in more deliberate strokes. All you're doing is trying to sweep out any big water pockets or any air bubbles that you might have left behind. And then we're going to take care of that little bottom edge. We'll clean off the outside, we'll check it over, and look for any things that we can touch up. So, yeah, there's just different unofficial rules in different areas, so the longer you do this, the longer you understand. What was that one? Glad I found the channel. Last year I had my tint. I had tried to tint my truck in 2015. Didn't come close to tinting it. Watch your streams, and then it took about 3 times. Nice. That's super awesome. Glad it worked out. Yeah, I have a lot of these full live stream videos, so I like to go start to finish. So if I mess up, if you have questions, there's a whole library of videos on my YouTube channel. I just leave everything up. So if you're trying to learn, I highly suggest watching that kind of stuff, because you never know what things you're going to learn that you didn't know before. All right. Let's clean off the outside. Oof. So I gotta ask why, well, everybody's here. How do you guys on YouTube, do you guys hate the 4x3? Or are you gonna put up with it? If you're watching on a phone, it auto adjusts, I think, in a good way, especially if you leave the chat up. But we're streaming on TikTok at the same time, and TikTok is just like completely opposite. So I'm trying to do something that's good for both Do you tint Teslas? Yeah, I'm actually getting one here pretty soon too. There's quite a few Teslas on the channel. Everything but the Model X. The resolution on mobile is horrible right now. Why is it bad? What happened? It should be pretty clear. It's odd, but it's okay. I think if you're not on a phone, it's probably not going to be amazing. If you are on a phone, the app auto adjusts. And then on TikTok, it's just going to look normal. It's good on PC? Oh, I appreciate that. Why is your resolution 4:3? Because I'm trying to accommodate more than one platform. Good on PC, terrible on mobile. What's wrong with mobile? Okay, hang on. So if you go to the app, explain why. So if I'm on the app, look. I click on it. This is what it's like. If I tap on the video, it like fills, it's taller. And then if I do sideways, you have the chat right there, and then it just fills more screen. But I like hearing people's opinions on it, so let me know. It's good on a phone. But what I also did was adjusted the GoPro a little bit. So the GoPro is backed off a little bit, so now you can see more in the frame here too. Mobile has a 5-second delay. Oh, well that's normal. Like you always have like inconsistent delays from one platform to the other. Not 4:3 looks like it's shot with a potato. Oh, okay. Now I think that's your phone, or if you click on settings, you might be able to adjust it. Hopefully that's the case. Yeah. If I watch your streams on the TV, so it's weird the sides are cut off. Yeah, that's what I was thinking was going to be the most annoying. But most viewership is mobile. But we got TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube running, so I mean 65 people on TikTok. What's up, guys? You don't use Lumar Tint? No, I use GeoShield. Looks better to me on TikTok over YouTube? Hell yeah. Sorry, YouTube. Dang. So this turned out pretty good. I have one little finger by the mirror tab to heat out. That'll be super easy. Then we got to put some stuff back, and then it's touch-ups. But everything's all set. Now I'm getting a lot of feedback on it. Is the back of the building your shop too? So that area, yes. All this, yes. There's multiple suites in this building. Those are not mine. I have suite 108. So this is kind of just like an industrial, honestly, more storage place. But there's like a gym here. There's like a printing company. And so there's just some like different businesses. If you don't need a lot of foot traffic and you just need some open space, really a lot of people use these for like commercial storage. So if you have a big online store, or like a local grocery store and you need extra storage or something, is what these units are really for. This one was like, I couldn't believe how nice this place was. We did some things to fix it up even more, but as far as just like open space, epoxied floors, it was already like pretty well lit, and then we added a ton more lighting. Cleaned up the walls a little bit, but man, other spaces for the price is still like way worse off than this. This place is like legitimately a nice place. Does more solution help with minimizing contamination? I think more slip solution, what it really helps with is getting the film in place, making things slide easier. That is going to help reduce contamination. The harder you struggle to get the film to where you need it to go. So if what's happening is you put it on the glass and then it freezes, well, then you have to pull it back and like, oh, you're just trying to fight with it. You're going to get a bunch of shit. Is there money to be made in... Oh, that's an interesting question. Is there money to be made in starting a YouTube channel for your business? I think every business needs to have some type of social presence. But the barrier to that is always rising because people are getting really good, and like people have their own like little formulas now at this point. So it definitely is a lot harder to stand out than it used to be. But yeah, I think it's great for business. I mean, but what you'll notice is there aren't a lot of tint shops that go live. There's more now. But seriously, like this whole thing of doing cars start to finish and whatnot, that wasn't a thing. Now it's more of a thing. So I'll have customers that'll see these and they'll come in because they saw the videos that were on the channel. And also some people ask if they can get their car on stream. Ding dong. There's people that'll ask to have their car on stream because they're like, oh, I really like the channel. Is there any way you're going to stream my car too? I'm more than happy to. I think it's super cool that people would be interested in that. So some people have, they'll send it to friends and family. Like, so it's a very shareable thing. Oh, are you going to come inspect my work now? He's running in here now that everything is done. Yeah, those are letters. Yeah, good job. E. R. 4. 5. 0. Great job. He loves letters and numbers and pointing them out. That's friggin' awesome. Just started working at Lakeshore Window Tint over in Muskegon. Oh, that's cool. I've heard of Muskegon. It's a little farther. I live in Detroit. I need to get my Cadillac tinted. Detroit Sean. We'll bring it in, man. Not today, schedule. So call the shop and we can definitely get you scheduled. What type of slip solution do you use? I use Tint Slip right now. Depends on your film. I'll always say you can use baby shampoo. Just depends on the film that you're using. If it's too tacky, get that stuff. What does Tint Slip smell like? I can't put my finger on it. I don't know, but it's a really nice smell. That's not a like added thing. It was literally like I got the bottle, I opened it up, and I was like, oh, this is pleasant. It doesn't smell, it's a clean smell, but it doesn't smell like a soap. But we didn't do anything to make it smell any certain way. It's just like happy coincidence there. It's hard to start social media platform, but but it goes hand in hand. Yeah, it does. TikTok has the most discovery. I mean, I spent a few years at least, like watching lots of videos from a particular marketer that helped me understand a lot more of the differences between like one platform to the next. So I definitely understand a lot more of it now than I used to, but YouTube is going to be like the most long-term discovery. A lot of the other platforms are very like ephemeral. So like you post a video and then it's like, you know, some people see it and then it's gone. But TikTok, I think, is the most discoverable right now. Cute kid, my little boy just turned 1 in February. I love being able to have him at my shop with me sometimes. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm really, really proud of this. So it's like, you know, you can definitely get into stuff. What are you doing? You can definitely get into stuff. And it's definitely hard to film sometimes because he gets really fussy and bored. But man, being able to like, my wife came in, helped out with all the orders today. They're just chilling, able to stream this car. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Okay, so yeah, everything is all taken care of at this point. We got 35 on the windshield. So this lighting is always going to make it look darker, more overcast. But we have 5 on the sides and then 5 on that back glass. So easier to see out of course, but still pretty friggin' dark. Turned out good. She's all set. How long was that? It wasn't bad, especially with the easy removal. See, starts getting fussy. When's your next class? I don't know yet. I have, let me switch over here. Let's see. Where's the thing? I need a microphone. I need the other microphone. See, that's what the headset does to me. It's pretty nuts. But yeah, that wasn't too loud. Oops, I just realized I'm 10 minutes behind the live. Yeah, people chiming in with aspect ratios. Because I want to come up and, oh, I've got one May 16th, 17th, and 18th. If you go 313tint.com, that's got the dates. The classes are definitely, like, so it's a full class now. We have 10 people coming. It's going to be, like, super busy. You can call the shop and we can talk about it. How much are the classes? I have more info on 313tint.com. They're pricey, but they come with a lot of stuff too. So we give like a full keg sprayer, we give a full professional tool belt. So basically like literally this whole Avery belt, everything that you saw me using minus the heat gun. Yeah, it's more of like a really helpful event style thing. Hey, I should leave this like this. Now I actually have, it's weird, when you pop out the chat, then you can't do anything. But now I have this, so that's cool. I'm gonna look into it. I can vinyl wrap, but I would love to learn how to tint. Nice, that's super cool. Yeah, get some film, get some tools, and just do some practicing at the very least, and always get a little experience then, and then take a class. When will your next class be? So I haven't posted dates yet. I usually have at least a couple of the following dates up. I'll put them on the site soon. It's probably going to be another one in June, probably near the end of June, or we'll just go straight into July. So I got an event thing down in Louisiana to go to. Do you use Expel? No, I use GeoShield. Expel likes to be very closed network. They have good films. They're just like, you're either all into Expel or you're not. What's your stock kind of like for percents and sizes? So I carry 36-inch and 24-inch rolls of pretty much everything that I install. So that's 5, 20, 35, and 50. It's easier to carry less of your more premium films if you don't sell them as much. So whatever film that you install the most, have a couple flexible sizes, and then always have a backup roll of that roll. So you're going through 20%, and then you get down to that last stretch of film, and you're like, oh, shoot, I didn't order. Always keep an extra roll on backup. So I'll do 36s, I'll do 24s, and then in every one of the shades. And then, like, in some films like Carbon in the beginning, I only carried like a 40-inch roll because I just wasn't installing it that much. Now I do so much more ceramic and carbon. I can't get over the robot gorillas. I don't know what these things? Oh. Those, you're talking about these things, right? Those are tape rolls. So it's robot gorillas. So it's these, and we stack them like that. And so there's like one at the top, then two, and then two more underneath. Oh, these? These are way easy. You can go to Home Depot or Lowe's, and what you get is there's a bar at the top, and then those two drop down bars, they hook in there, and then they have lots of little slots, and then you can get different size brackets, and so you can, it's very modular. It's like in garage or closet storage. When cutting 5%, how do you see where you need to cut? You're going to use a light. I don't think I have one here. You're going to make me get up. So I went to Menards. And then found shorter brackets, and I bought like every single one of them that they had. And then with the other stuff, I found it at like Lowe's. Honestly, for the light, I just used one of these. This was like $30 from Harbor Freight. Gets really bright. I always love the thin profiles because then you can tuck it far into a. Let me put that down for a sec. You can tuck it farther into the deck lid. Otherwise, I use like Glass Aid. So that's the thin white tape, or the thick white tape that you saw me line around the whole windshield. And then I'll just take the light and I'll shine this through onto that, and that's how you can see it. But these little lights, these are really handy. They even have a little light on the end. But I pretty much do everything with the little stick light. You've taught me so much via YouTube. I'm so much more comfortable with shrinking thanks to you. That's awesome. I love hearing that. I'm self-taught with vinyl and just did a 2017 Ultima. It turned out amazing. Nice. That's super cool. Yeah, you don't have to come out and take a class. I do so much on video. Where the classes are really helpful is for the people that are like, you've got some film, got some tools, you're getting into it. We somehow always have people that have never touched film before, but I always encourage, get some film, get some tools, do some practicing, and just see how you like it. And then watch the videos again, go back, keep practicing, and then if you really need to, then definitely take a class. They'll speed you up a lot. Just sent you a message. All right, thanks. I'm a tinter. I use Expel. Nice. Yeah, Expel has good stuff. Your page is so good. I'm a barber. I'm going to get into tinting soon. I actually knew there's a barber that did a lot of live streaming too. We would talk a lot about live stream setups. It's a funny coincidence. Alrighty. Well, I got this guy waiting up front, so we're going to shout out some super chats here. If you guys have any more questions, let me know. But yeah, not bad on this one. We were just streaming for like 2.5 hours. Nice. I'm glad the TikTok thing is working really well. I wanted to do that for a long time. Alrighty. Big shout outs to Daniel Reyna. Daniel Reyna, RGC, thank you for the supers today. I really appreciate it. Any tips on helping customers with percent? My last 2 customers didn't like the one they got because they thought it would have been darker. Sacrifice your own vehicle as a demo. That's my best suggestion. You should have something that illustrates at least 20, 35, and then put 50 on your windshield. To be honest, that seems to be like the best match mix of stuff for my own customers. If most of your people want to go darker than that in general, then have 20 on the front, 5 in the back, maybe 35 on the windshield or something like that. But I always take people out because you show them the slides. You don't know what that's going to look like. Take them outside, show them your car. And that usually gives people a pretty like, oh, okay, no, that looks a little light. I want it a little bit darker than that. And then you can kind of pinpoint because numbers are not enough to figure everything out. Somebody says, I want 15, and you as a tinner go, I have 20, I have 5, you might have 15, but you're just like, you have 15 in your head. They might have a completely different image of what 15 is. I'm about to start doing this job. I want to ask, is it good for a person? I don't really understand the question. You can make good money doing it. It's a lot of like, it's a skilled trade, so it'll be frustrating to get there. So for some people, no. For some people, yes. Is Scorpion a good brand? I hear decent things. I think they're more on like the budget end of like the known brands. I hear decent things though. For beginner tint, what would you recommend to use as a cheaper option not to waste money? Okay, so there's a couple ways you can do this. If you're just practicing, you can get something like T-View off of Amazon for like $90, and you can waste a whole bunch of it because in the beginning you're going to be scrapping a lot of film. Something that you want to install on your customers' cars, I would highly suggest buying a better film, but buying like 50-foot rolls instead of 100-foot rolls. That'll save you money. You'll have good film, and then you can make that money back very quickly and start investing in some more inventory. Rather than like, this film is just, you know, I get 100 feet, but it's lower price because what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for possible failures down the road, and that's a scary thing because when you have cars failing, that's going to cost you far more money in lost business and bad opinions. So I always suggest getting something better. Heard much about Edge Films? I know they're owned by Autobahn. That's their... So you have Autobahn, which I think is their like territorial dealer network, and then you have Edge, which anybody can purchase. I don't know how similar those films are, but I've definitely heard of them. Very, very nice company from what I hear. You're a professional of your work. Thank you. What do you think about Autobahn? I hear nice things. I haven't tried them in person, though. Have a spare glass with tint on it. Yeah, that's also a very good way to kind of demo different shades and stuff. The hard part is, like, when it's up against a wall, it's not as realistic as it is on the car. So chances are you drive a car, tint that in a way that is really helpful to your own customers. And just embrace that. What's your dream car? I don't know, to be honest. Hey, bud. I don't know. I'm getting a Model 3 here. That should be fun. My lease price just dropped. I wasn't looking at Tesla at all. This is kind of like a funny story. But yeah, so the Blazer lease is going to be up soon. I was looking around to lease something else. Everything else is ridiculously expensive as far as like you put, I don't know, $3 to $4 grand down. You're still paying $500-600 a month. It's kind of wild. So then I heard Tesla was dropping prices, and then I looked into it a little bit. My lease price was going to be $515 a month with $1,300 down. Now it's $490 because they just dropped prices again. $490 a month with $1,350 down. We're getting a Model 3. Cool. It'll be really good for videos and stuff. Sent a rose and a crown. Thank you. Arturo, thank you for the thingies. I'm not super familiar with TikTok streaming, but thank you so much. Currently a younger tinner. Nice. That's super cool. I almost thought it was my rep or my contact over at like Tint Depot / High Tech. You got the same name. Oh, no. Okay, so I'm leasing. So I literally putting $1,350 down. And then my payment a month is going to be $490. That's on a 10,000 mile lease. I have to drive to Ohio to get it, though. That's kind of annoying. You are my teacher? Nice. Thanks, man. I hope I'm helpful. But yeah, it's kind of wild to me that literally, like I got the base rear wheel drive one, and it looks like it's, I don't know, it looks cool. Surprised that was literally the least expensive option. Alrighty, I'm gonna take off here. You got me working in a shop? That's cool. Yeah. That's super cool, man. I hope it's going well. Alrighty, guys, I'm going to take off here. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll have another stream here pretty soon. And have a good one.